Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Lunar New Year Display. This is set number 80110. It has 872 pieces and I paid $90 for this set. The first thing I will show are the instruction booklets. This is yet another one of a Lego set that comes with more than one booklet and does say, you could build it together. So this could be a really fun build to do with a partner or a family. And it even lists which bags are needed for which one, and they make it very, very easy to separate those out, and so that's pretty neat. And one of them is they are different sizes here. The first one is one less bag than the second one, but piece-wise, I don't know if I noticed too much in how long it took to build or anything like that, or if one was particularly easier than another, but that is fun to notice. And it just says this, some of my printing on this booklet is actually kind of weird. This one's really good, but let me see if I can show that. So the printing on this booklet has like weird kind of doubling on some of the letters here, but this one's very, very clear. The Spring Festival, Chinese Festival Special Edition. So this is the Lunar New Year Display. And part of the reason I got this is because I love display sets. And I also love like flowers and botanicals in Lego, and this had a pretty prominent one that I thought was interesting. And because I recently, or not too long ago, built the money tree, which is kind of not in the same line or the same thing, but somewhat similar in color and everything like that. And so I thought they would pair nicely together. I also thought the money tree was incredibly good value for what you get. And this one was quite the step up in price, but I wanted to see what it was like. And I think this is really, really great as well. The price per piece is not as good as the money tree, but there's a lot I love about this set. So we're going to kind of take a look at everything close up and go through this. The first thing we can see, I have them laying on their side. They do come with these kind of stands here, so they would be stood up in like this on a shelf, on a bookshelf or something like that. I have them laying flat just for the best view, but these stands on the bottom are constructed out of Lego bricks. A lot of those kind of angled corner type pieces, bricks and tiles, some repetition in here to get these all done. Both of them are exactly the same. I will just pop both of them off here. So both of the bases are exactly the same, and that's very good. They have two Technic bricks that can fit a Technic pin in there on one side, and they just clip in there and then rest very nicely on these bases. And we can see at the corner, we have one Technic pin and one kind of Technic axle piece that sit in there. The pin kind of clips in and the axle piece just rests in there, holding it together. And it's a really, really simple but really kind of elegant way of doing it. Not a way I would have thought of, I think. And that's really, really nice to get these kind of diamond shaped or, square, but on its side kind of shape with a to display and be sturdy and look really, really nice. And the stand doesn't take too much away from it or anything. So with these stands kind of out of the way, I'll pop this one back on just for just because, just so when we look at this. So this is the first one you build. This is from bags 1 through 4. And it starts with kind of some, bricks on plates, plates on plates. It does use these very large, the background here, this red, is the same red as all this kind of structure on the outside, are 2 big plates. And so on the side here, we got a lot of plates and a lot of plates and bricks. And the construction of this is actually not as simple as I thought. It's kind of, it's like we have a plate, brick, plate, brick, plate, and there's some variation in there where you add kind of like a jumper brick or whatever, and some stuff out of the side here, so that keeps it fresh. And it's just not as basic as I thought it would be. It's not just building a square of bricks, because it has to hold all the structure that's internal in this thing and then leave room for everything in the top. So we do have like this piece coming out, which is this gold, hollow stud with the bar piece there that is pushed in and but sticks out. And we have another one of those in here, but it's on the inside of the frame instead of the outside of the frame. One of the first things I wanted to point out, though, is look at all this gold. There's tons of gold on here, and I really like the drum lacquered gold or the metallic gold. I also really like the pearl gold, and this set has a bunch of both. You get so many of these metallic gold like vent pieces or grate pieces there, and the design around the outside is really fun and interesting, and so you also get a bunch of these rounded tiles there. Very cool. I love how it looks. We get the bigger tiles here on the inside for the gold. The printing, these are all prints. There is no stickers in this set at all, so these are all printed, 4 different prints there. These are both printed, and those are really stellar prints with a ton of detail, and they're in that kind of gold, metallic gold print over the red. Very nice. And the flowers are there nicely too. So that's all really cool. I'm very grateful for that. And there's also a lot of like the pearl gold. So these, I believe, are like the pearl gold, like money boats or whatever, but also these flower studs or these 1x1 flower plates in there are also the gold color. So that's really terrific. And to make these boats, we also get the kind of large claw or barb piece in like the pearl gold as well, which is really awesome. So much gold, it really shines, it really catches light, and it really pops. And then besides the boats and the different printed tiles here, which I don't know what these mean or what they say, but they certainly look nice. And I'm really glad that they're prints and there's no stickers at all. We get kind of these little builds. So we have the nice cloud pieces coming through, and that's a really nice effect to break up the frame. But then everything breaks up the frame and brings this to life and gives it a ton of depth here. So even off of the center here, this whole structure in the middle is raised up or raised forward, which is great. The blue or the water in the back there is raised up a little bit. And then we get little koi fish, and they are really smartly built. They use heart tiles for the tail in the orange, lots of kind of mismatch pieces, uses a hinge piece here to get the angle of the fish, and then they are just clipped on there in a really easy way. Well, they're on a clip here, and then that goes on a plate with a bar sticking up out of it. Whoopsies. And I just thought it was a really smart way to do these fish, and I think the finished effect looks really good and really brings them to life. Even using like this hinge piece, or this like ratchet kind of connector thing with as a fin is very, very cool. The eyes work wonderfully, and the way that they have you put them on just makes perfect sense. And these can be like arranged in a slightly different way, or it could be moved, they could be spun. So there is some stuff there. I really liked them kind of like this, so when it is displayed standing up, they kind of are on the side there, but they do have eyes on the other side, so they could be displayed more like that to be viewed from the top or something. I just really liked them like this. Then the boats, very easy construction for these, and they are also just kind of clipped on in the same way. And they do actually use a gold version of that piece there, and then again just on a plate with a bar coming off of it, and they just sit right there, and so much depth. They look great. They bring a lot of like to the foreground of this, and really, really cool. And I think they have some significance. In fact, I am just going to compare this to the money tree here because I have the money tree close by. And we can see that the same kind of red and the same kind of gold is used. Also, the money tree uses a bunch of prints. And in fact, this 1x2 tile print right here is very, very similar or exactly to the same to these 2x4 prints there. So that is super neat. I will just grab that so we can look at them next to each other. Very, very cool. Nice attention to detail from Lego on those prints. And I'm very happy that both these sets came with so many prints. And then the other thing, this fell off, on the money tree set, on the back of the kind of display thing for it, we have these boats, these gold and the metallic gold kind of boats here, and they stud on the back of their money tree, and you can go watch my review of this money tree set. But we get that same red and that same gold there, and these boats that are on the New Year display here get the shape about right, and the color is great. I don't think they do these pieces in like the real like drum lacquered metallic gold. Maybe they could. I don't know if they could. I don't know if they would. But at least for this, it works really well as is. So that's very, very cool. And I'm going to be really looking forward to having this and having the money tree to display at the appropriate time. I think this is a really smart use of color. It really, really pops for me. I loved putting this together. And this is only half of this set. So the next one we look at is, somewhat similar. The base, as I mentioned, the stand is very much the same, but there's also a lot of different stuff going on here. The construction for the frame is pretty similar. It does use different colors for those big plates in there. It's kind of the inverse of the other one, which looks really, really nice. And then the internal frame of the gold, this one's more of like a square, and this one's more like, I don't know, a clubs from a card or something like that. But a slightly different design on the inside. Again, these are all prints, and those are all unique, I believe, and not the same as any of the prints on this one. So we get 4 more of those printed big round tiles there, which is just awesome. Also, these butterflies are printed. I don't know if I've seen many of these butterfly elements before. Very, very nice. Floral studs in there, some good detail. Really, really lovely. Of course, we get all the gold around here, but instead of the white clouds, what breaks up the frame in this one are these pearl gold cloud pieces, which is really, really awesome. I was very happy to see that. Unfortunate thing about them is the way that they have them and the way that they're molded. The there's like printing and a mold like spot right there on these. Let me see if I can get the printing to be visible here. You can kind of see it there. There's just some numbering and some stuff on these pieces that on the other side is not present, but the way that they have them, this is how they're supposed to be. So probably not something you would notice unless you were up very close or specifically looking for it. But I do wish it was maybe more designed with hiding that kind of stuff, designed with that in mind. So a very minor complaint, but very happy that those are here, and I just love the differences between those. It makes it feel a lot different when you're building it, and when you finally display them together or apart, they do feel like their own thing, which is very, very cool. And then we get to, instead of the koi fish and the boat, we get this display of a flower here. And I loved it. I love botanicals. I love Lego flowers. I thought this was built in a really cool way. You kind of put some of that stuff in there before you finish off the frame, just so you can get all of the different kind of technic and stem elements that are in there. But it's very sturdy, but there is like some articulation, so you could customize it to make it look as organic as you may want it to, which is really nice. But this, and I mean, this big flower here is just such a standout. It uses a bunch of these kind of shell pieces, which I have seen used for like a rabbit's foot on a Creator 3-in-1. I don't know what else they're used in, but you get several of those. The effect that they give for the petals on this is so beautiful. I think it works just tremendously well. This is just a kind of standard arch piece, and then we get some of these kind of sloped pieces in the middle of these shells here, which is very good. And then I do not know what this piece is. It almost looks like it'd be a shield or some kind of tile or something a sticker would go on, or a face or something. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if I've seen this piece before, but you get several of them, and they just fit perfectly in this flower to really, really bring this to life. And it's a piece that I haven't seen used in botanicals, I don't think, yet. And so that's really great. Same with the clamshell or whatever the shell piece is. I don't think I've seen that in any of the botanicals that I've done, or like the official Lego botanicals. So it was a real joy for me to find those here in this one. Also, in the middle part where maybe the pollen is, or whatever the center of the flower there is, uses kind of an inverted upside down eggshell piece, which is nice. And then these antenna pieces or joystick type pieces to really great effect. And I didn't know how that was going to be attached at first. I was holding it all around, and when I put it in there, I was just like, oh wow, why didn't I think of that? That is so brilliant. This flower has a little bit of movement in here, so it could be more facing in or more facing out. I kind of like where it naturally grows. But just looking at the profile of this, that adds so much visual weight and depth and beauty to something that's already pretty magnificent. And so I loved this. All of the kind of smaller flower stuff, we do get some nice color of these leaf pieces here, which is nice, and you get a good amount of those, which is very cool. I like this color of this leaf piece. We get a couple of these flower pieces there, several of these, which is very good. And I'm really, really in love with this flower. I think ultimately for these two builds, I had a lot of fun doing it. It wasn't terribly complicated, but not crazy easy either. I mean, they did do some things that I didn't expect, and I always appreciate that. If I looked at these on the box and tried to imagine how I would build them, I definitely probably wouldn't have. I don't think I would have done it the same way that the Lego designers did, and that's really, really great. The choices of colors and parts used in these are just spot on, and I love them. I think they're just absolutely beautiful, really, really fun, And I'm going to be so proud to display these and show these off. I think they really catch light, catch someone's eye, and there's a lot of stuff to look at in here, which is really, really great. And I would love for maybe these to be translated. No stickers, huge plus for me. A lot of printed elements in here, unique printed elements. I don't know how many of these sets Lego sells, but it's really, really great that we got all these different prints. And I think it works wonderfully with the money tree. And these are kind of my Lunar New Year display kind of things. And there's also the parade set and a few other things that I might be interested in looking at because I was very, very impressed by this. Huge fan. $90 for 872 pieces. If I was looking at these as art, and like how big they are and what they would be in a thing, would I say like, okay, would I pay $45 for one of these things if I saw it in a thrift store and it was made out of wood or metal or some other thing? I don't know. I don't know if I would, but the fact that they're made out of Lego, I really value the build experience. If someone wanted to use some of the pieces or parts in here, it's possible that there are some parts in here that are people would want for some reason. And I think these are great. I don't know if they are an art piece or something, a display thing that I would want on my bookshelf if they weren't made out of Lego, but that's kind of a weird criticism to have. So yeah, if I look at one of these, or let me think about it this way. If this was one set for $45 and this was one set for $45 and both of them had 430 pieces, I think I'd still be interested in it. I mean, I don't know if I would end up getting both of them I would probably choose to get this one with the flower first if they were separate. But then if they are so similar that I felt like they would pair nicely together, I probably would end up getting both. At the $90, I feel like these are great. I don't know how much more expensive like prints or the drum lacquered gold, metallic gold kind of elements are. I don't know, but this doesn't have like an IP attached to it necessarily. So the price per piece is average or medium or slightly below average of what most people kind of expect. But there is a lot to love here, and so I'm okay with that, and I'm a huge fan of this set. I just can't even express how much I loved this. The koi, the boats, the depth, the construction, the display ability, the prints. Wow. Very, very, very cool. So I liked this a lot. I loved this. If you liked this video, consider giving it a like. And if you like the videos on my channel, consider subscribing to it so you can stay up to date on all the Lego content I will be posting here in the future, including more display sets, Lego Star Wars, Lego Marvel, Indiana Jones, DC, Speed Champions, and I have a video that I've been working on about Brickworld Milwaukee from this year, and there's a ton of cool stuff in that, so subscribe so you don't miss any of those. And until next time, thanks. Bye.